I'm so excited to be around you again. I just wanted to give everybody on SSHoney this gigantic embrace. I just love you all so much.
Our love to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
And from the children.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to try to get a handle, and I know this is a big thing to tackle at the end of the session here, the physics of consciousness.
Yes.
And manifestation.
Yes.
I really get excited about trying to understand this. I've sort of made this division in my mind, and I know they don't really exist, into the metaphysics of it, which to my sense means like intentionality, coherence, belief systems, and then the physics of it, which involves sort of zero-point field and Bose-Einstein condensates and how...
And these are simply different labels for things that are somewhat similar from time to time. Different ways of people interpreting similar ideas.
How then does that work if you were to explain it in a physics sense in terms of reality actually coalescing and manifesting out of a shift in consciousness?
Do not your quantum physicists already understand that there is no reality apart from the observation of it?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Quantum physics has already defined this idea. There is no reality apart from your observation of it, and that's what reality is.
Is it, in a sense, kind of this holographic projection?
Yes, and that's another way that some scientists have of defining it. It's still, in a sense, a convenient euphemism, but it will work as a template to define something that allows everyone to at least be on common ground with their terminology.
And how do we move, and I know you've addressed this many times, but I'm not getting it, from third to fourth density?
Well, there are many ways to look at it. One way we have defined the recognition of it and the moving through it is to recognize that you actually are the reality that you previously thought you existed in. And another way of saying that, again, is, as your quantum physicists say it, the idea that there is no reality until you decide to observe something. And it is the choice you make of what to observe that determines the reality you experience. So it's just a matter of making a certain choice to observe a certain thing, and whatever the definition of that thing is, then becomes the reality you experience based on how you set up the observation. So if you start defining the idea of fourth density as something different from third and imbue qualities to fourth density in your definition, then you set yourself up to be capable of perceiving and experiencing fourth density reality based on the definition you have given it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We can also describe an actual scientific experiment that could be done to actually prove that point.
Go ahead.
All right. You understand the process that exists on your planet called hypnosis, yes?
Yes.
All right. This is actually a very strong technique to unlock you from one reality assumption and allow you to focus on others. One actual experiment that could be done to literally prove this would be to have a series of chambers, one inside the other, each big enough to contain people. And what you can do is you can hypnotize people to tell other people in the inside chamber that one particular kind of thing will happen in the next chamber, and then hypnotize that person to tell another person that thing will happen in that chamber, and hypnotize that person to tell another person that a particular kind of thing will happen in that chamber. And in each of those chambers you can have cameras. In the outer reality chambers, the cameras will record one thing. In the inner reality chambers, the cameras will record whatever those people absolutely believe they would see in that chamber. You will have two different realities on tape. Do you understand this? Because if you get everyone in one reality to believe a certain thing, it completely affects everything about that reality. And if the person doesn't know that there's another reality to believe in, then that is the overriding vibration in that chamber and becomes what gets recorded by everything that does record in that chamber. And you can actually see on two side-by-side monitors two completely different realities happening.
And these similar realities are viewable within this reality.
Yes, because you are creating bubble reality. You're creating isolated bubble realities through the hypnotic technique of convincing someone that there is only one kind of reality on that side and another kind on this side. So in other words, you could have the belief system that it's not possible for you to pass your hand through a plate of steel. But if you convince someone in the inner reality through hypnosis, to convince someone through hypnosis, to convince someone through hypnosis, so there's no way to trace back to the original belief that there is no plate of steel in the inner chamber, you will actually be capable of seeing someone pass their hand through something that to them is really not there. You understand?
So in terms of surpassing and dealing with the limitations that we put on ourselves,
yes,
can we then self-hypnotize to the point where
that's
we're able...
what you do all the time.
But we just don't do it
that's
in the right way.
That's what belief systems are. You are hypnotizing yourself.
And we're entirely capable of putting a different program in there.
You are. With an overriding understanding that you can hypnotize yourself to something else. Yes. Does that help?
Yes, as always.
And
I'm not quite finished. I don't know where else to go with this. So much of it depends on choice.
It all depends on choice.
If you have, let's say, the physics experiment where they have the Schrodinger's cat, and the cat is either alive or dead.
And of course, you know the answer is the cat is alive and dead, because that represents two different parallel realities. If you did it in the way we just described this experiment, you could actually record the cat both alive and dead. You will see both simultaneously co-occurring parallel realities.
And they are both equally, there's an opportunity for either to exist equally. They exist equally. They exist equally until the observer comes along, and then it's their belief system that then creates it, sort of collapses that wave function into dead or alive.
Yes, you bring your own belief system into it, and you decide at that point which shall be the effect in your reality, unless, as I said, you bring a belief system in that you are capable of perceiving both realities simultaneously. I am simply suggesting a technological way to assist you to do that. Because some of you will believe in the power of the technology a little bit more easily than the power of your own belief system. So you can set yourself up through hypnotic suggestion to actually experience that through literal physical recordings. Because you see, if you bring someone in as an observer that has absolutely no idea what the experiment was, then there will be no bias at all, and they will actually be capable of telling you that they see one recording on one monitor and a completely different result on the other monitor, because they have no idea what you did to get those two recordings, so there will be no contradiction in their mind that both recordings can exist side by side. You see? You need to constantly remove someone from the belief system level, though, that would, in a sense, allow them to collapse it one way or the other. That's what the hypnosis is for, and that's what the idea is for of a blind observer who has no idea what the experiment is, so they can actually tell you that they can see both results side by side without bias.
And how do we break our circuit sufficiently to be able to exist in that state?
You can start by understanding it is possible and believing that it is possible and conducting the experiment.
Cool.
There's that temperature again.
I love you so much.
Our unconditional love to you. And remember that your own imagination will also supply you with many other techniques other than what we have suggested here in this communication. And at this time, we will say to each and every one of you our deep appreciation For each and every individual who has participated in the co-creation of this interaction, you all make a difference, and we love each and every one of you unconditionally. You are all beautiful. You are all perfect as you are, even though you will change. And each and every one of you is a teacher for everyone else, as well as a student of everyone else.